Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today, and we are back for another episode, and today it's the Singapore Grand Prix. If you guys missed round 14 for the Italian Grand Prix, the last of the European races, then go watch the episode guys, it'll be linked in the top right hand corner of the screen. It was a race where there was R&D regulation reset confirmed for next season, so go watch exactly what happened by watching the episode guys, but we're going to focus on this one here today at Singapore, and straight away you can see on the weather conditions we have rain for the race, so it's going to be a very, very long Singapore Grand Prix, 31 laps in the wet. It's going to take forever, and I'm not looking forward to it. But in terms of upgrades, we do have two upgrades in the car, one of them being a major aerodynamic upgrade and the other one being a minor weight reduction upgrade. So those two combined are actually going to mean we re-overtake the midfield cars and jump up to the fourth best team. But if you look at the R&D graph now, if you compare it to Australia / Abu Dhabi last season, look how close the entire grid is. Even Haas, Renault and Alfa Romeo bringing upgrades this weekend, and you can see how close we all are. We are the fourth quickest team now though, and we are making that push to become a top team, and we are very, very close. We do have more upgrades in the way. We have a major I believe chassis one for the next race already penciled in, so the car's continuously improving. But having said that, we are in need now of saving some points and focus on the aerodynamics, which is going to be affected next season, and we need to try and save some points to protect that part of the car and really make a step forward going into season 3. But guys, jumping into practice, the car straight away felt okay. I was struggling with some overheating issues on the tyres. It seems like as the cars get quicker in career mode, you tend to have overheating issues, and I was struggling, especially with the qualifying performance test. I actually had 2 attempts at it, and both times I failed, so I couldn't quite get that program. But other than that, it was a good weekend, and some good R&D points were put away into the R&D points kitty, if you will, as we now move into qualifying here at Singapore. And this weekend, I'm using 110 AI once again, so we're finding that consistency again compared to last season, which is good. But I think it could be a tricky session for us. This track doesn't necessarily suit our car that well, and we have struggled here before. We struggled here last season, so it could be a tricky one for us. You know, based off of practice, I'm actually quite a way off the pace. But I do remember last season when when it comes to qualifying, the Williams does come alive a little bit, and when you take the fuel out, I seem to find a bit more pace than the AI do. So I think we might be able to bring it back a little bit. But having said that, after practice, we was last, so we need to find something and really try and pull something out the bag, because we are a little bit off the pace here. And I don't know why the car just doesn't feel good. I can't seem to. I've tried a million different setups in the last few races, and the last 2 or 3 races, the car's just not quite felt right, even with the upgrades. It's kind of weird to explain, but nonetheless, we're going to move to qualifying here, and we're going to see how we get on as the night lights are shining here at Marina Bay, and we're going to have that wonderful nighttime setting here for qualifying as we get off the jack and get underway in Q1. We're going to go out for 2 runs in this session, as we normally do in most Q1 sessions, and my first lap here was actually okay. It didn't feel bad. There was no real mistakes in it. It was just maybe a little bit cautious because I wanted to get a relatively decent lap time on the ball to have a reference going on to my second lap. And you'll see as we go through the final corner, we are currently P20. Do we get off the bottom of the table across the line? And we do go P16 there. Charles Leclerc P17 on mediums just behind us, but 1.8 off the pace. That's quite a way off, and a 1:34.0, and the right front overheating towards the end of the lap. So overall, I think there's more time in it. I'm going to try and go even slower amount lap next time round, as we now ride on board for the entirety of my best lap in Q1. So here we go then, straight towards turn 1. You want to try and throw the car in at the 50-meter board, really attack the inside curb at 1, and then open the car up through 2 to really make sure you open up the exit of turn 3, avoid the debris there in my case on the right-hand side to avoid a puncture as we get the power now towards turn 4. Throwing the car in, important to get the power down as soon as you possibly can here. I actually got the power down so damn early out of there. I don't even know how I did that, but the car just gripped up magically for us as we're half a tenth up, looking for the 100-meter ball cross with the 50 for the next brake zone. And so far, we're about a tenth up as we get a good exit. Now throwing the car into the next right-hander, no locking up, and we find about a tenth of a second under braking there. Really, really good right-hand hairpin as we now go through this long double apex left onto this short little back straight, and now into the very complex kind of left-right chicane section here, all the way down across the Anderson Bridge in towards the hairpin. All about throwing the car in, having the confidence to really attack those apexes and get the power down as we slow the car down for the hairpin. No locking up, absolutely perfect on the power as soon as possible, and we are nearly 4 tenths up on this lap as we go to the back straight here, and you're looking for the 50-meter board once again as your reference into this right hand. A very tricky one, this means you think you can brake later, but that makes you just lock up and run deep, so you've got to brake earlier than you think. But then again, if you brake too early, you're going to lose a handful of time. So it's a very tricky corner. It kind of disguises the fact it's quite a tricky corner, as we now continue on with that lap. And we've got a few chicanes to negotiate here as we go underneath the bridge and keeping it nice and tight. At this point, I'm half second up.
30 seconds left in the session.
I know at this point I'm pretty much into Q2. I've just got to try and keep the lap together and not make any mistakes and just don't throw it away as we go through the final corner. And this lap was much better. The tyres didn't overheat, especially the right front, it didn't overheat, and it made a massive difference as we jump up to 9th place and get into the 33.4s. Really strong lap there, and you just caught a glimpse of my worn-out power unit, which is probably the last race for certain components. But yeah, overall a decent lap, and we are going to get into Q2, I believe, thanks to that second effort, which was actually incredibly surprising. I didn't expect that kind of pace. And by far my fastest lap of the weekend. That 34.0 was my quickest lap of the weekend up until that point. And the 33.4 came out from absolutely nowhere. But just taking the out lap super slow really made a big difference. And the tyre temperatures held on, which is fantastic as we out-qualified Kubica there, who only manages P18. So overall, a decent Q1 for us. But we're now going to move to Q2. And we're going to see if we can try and potentially get the Q3. We are going to go for only just one run, though, because my two sets of softs I used in Q1 were just far too worn, and I just couldn't use them again. I know I'm not going to set a competitive lap time with them, so we're going to go out with about 5 minutes to go. The track is absolutely empty, so we've got it all to ourselves, and we're going to try and set a lap with one run, one set of tyres, and try our absolute best. So straight away, 1, 2 and 3, not too bad. Into turn 4, the first of the mistakes. I got the wrong line, and I ran a bit wide. If you compare my line there compared to the lap in Q1, I didn't get the best exit, and I didn't get the power down nowhere near as early, but still, it's a relatively strong first sector. 2 turns down on Bottas as we throw the car a little bit hot on the brakes here into this left-hander again, running a bit deep and losing maybe another 1/10 of a second. But we now throw the car through the right, not too bad through there, nice and smooth on traction. Bring the car to the right-hand side to really attack the double lefts, and that was a much better line through there. And that's more like it as we now go up towards the very tricky Mickey Mouse section here, throwing the car in again to the left and then bringing it over to the right, over the bump, nice and easy on the power on the exit, through the Anderson Bridge, and then brake into the hairpin. A little bit of a lock up on the front right, which is not ideal, but we do manage to get the car slowed down for the apex, smoothly on the power, on the back straight, using some overtake to really top, the speed charts, and now down towards second gear for turn 14. 8/10 down currently on Bottas, and so far not too shabby as we go in towards the start of the final sector, kicking things off with the first right-left chicane here, and not too bad through there, no locking up, nice and tidy on the exit as we now go into a left-right underneath the bridge. Once again, lock up on the left front, but no time lost whatsoever over the curbs, nice and smoothly there, a little bit of oversteer as we now bring the car over once again to a right-left chicane underneath the main bridge there and the motorway. We brush the wall on the exit, not the best and cleanest exit through there as we now go through the final corner, trying to get the power as soon as possible. DRS open, and it's only P15, and it is a 33.5, so 1/10 slower than my Q1 lap, but that Q1 lap was good enough for a top 11, top 12 finish. So the AI stepping up the pace in Q2, and I couldn't quite respond. Pierre Gasly getting knocked out there in the Red Bull on medium tyres, but overall we tried our best. And I could have got Giovinazzi maybe if I hadn't made the mistakes at turns 4 and 6, when I ran a bit deep into both of them. Other than that, there wasn't much more in it, and P14 would have been the best I could have got in that session. So overall, I'm not too disappointed. We got into Q2, and we hit the goal, which is on my contract to get 15th in qualifying. So overall, not much more we could have done, and the car is struggling a bit around here with temperatures and overall performance. But guys, that is it for qualifying here at Singapore, and we're now going to try and move into the race, which, by the way, reminder, it's a wet race, so let's jump into it. It's time for the Singapore Grand Prix.
As the sun sets over the South China Sea, the sport that never sleeps is alert and raring to go. Welcome, under the bright lights of the Marina Bay circuit, to another Singapore Grand Prix. It's a very long, very physical lap, this one, and really there's not much in the way of margin for error. So we have a bit of an endurance race for you tonight. We have a high risk of a safety car here today, as the abundance of tight corners mixed with these wet conditions could put a few cars off into the barriers. 23 turns then, 13 to the left and 10 to the right, make up the 3.1 mile lap of Marina Bay. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's have a chat about Williams. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Verstappen, Kimi Raikkonen and Sainz, Perez, Albon, Kvyat and Daniel Ricciardo. Leclerc, they've taken a grid penalty. Norris, Antonio Giovinazzi, Martinez, Magnussen, Grosjean, Robert Kubica and Nico Hülkenberg. Stroll and Pierre Gasly picks up the final grid slot today. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, so here we are then on the grid for the Singapore Grand Prix, and as you can see, it is raining quite heavily. I believe the race is going to start on the full wet tyres, and in terms of strategy, not much we can do here. It's just about, getting through the wet period. What we have done, though, is we've taken all the fuel out of the car. We're on the lowest we can possibly go, and even then we've still got quite a bit of fuel in the tank, 0.9 to be fair, literally almost 1 lap more worth of fuel, and that's just due to the fuel consumption upgrades we've put onto the car recently. But the car can't be anything like this. We're on the lowest weight, so that might benefit us. We'll see. Hopefully, though, we can have a good race, and weather condition at the end of the race is going to be interesting. Whether it goes to dries or not, or whether it says in the inter is going to be quite interesting, because we are going to have a dry patch and then another bit of rain quickly after that. So it could be quite interesting, and the end of the race could be crucial. The good thing is, even though we're way down the order, strategy will give us the opportunity to pull something out of the bag here today. So I'm looking forward to it. I am relatively decent in wet weather conditions, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So we're going to see if we can have a good race and hopefully score some decent points to get back onto the wagon, because we didn't score points in Monza, and that was the first time all season we missed out on the points. So hopefully we could try and right that wrong. Let's jump into it. Right, here we go then. Let's build up the revs and get ready for the 5 red lights here at Singapore. Lights out, and away we go. Not a bad start. We are going to be able to get over to the left-hand side, so the right-hand side. Oh my God, Giovinazzi, they're giving them a bit of a squeeze, bit of debris going over the track. I've got to be cautious. Warning for a collision with Giovinazzi. I'm going to try and go around the outside of turn 3. Giovinazzi giving me little to no room. We have got the traction down though, and we are going to go down the inside of the Italian into turn 4. We'll just take the position, there we go, on the inside, probably understeer kicking in mid-corner, but we do get past Giovinazzi. Going to double check my front wings in one piece. It is. That's a good start from us. And I've already adjusted the brake bias for these conditions, moving a little bit more towards the rear as a precaution. We'll go down the inside of Norris here. He should be early on the brakes, quite slow. I'm going to try and take the inside line. Power down. We do take the position just, and we're now behind Charles Leclerc in the throw, who picked up a penalty after qualifying. So far, good start. Visibility is very poor at the minute. Can't see that much. I have had worse. Luckily, we're going so slow that there's not that much spray being kicked up. It's a very slow circuit for it, so the spray won't be that bad. As we go towards the hairpin, I'm going to go around the outside here. I fancy to move down the inside, but I never trust myself. Leclerc has given me very little room, and has actually put me in the wall there. So unfortunately, we can't quite commit to the overtake. So we'll just sit back for now. This is going to be a very, very long race. Singapore is long enough as it is, but in the wet conditions, this race is an actual eternity. So patience will definitely be required in this one. It's a very long race, and you can't win on the first lap. So far so good. We made up 2 places, so that's a good start in my book after a pretty risky turn 1 on the outside line. It's all about adapting to the conditions now and try to feel confident and come into this race. But for sure, while the wet conditions are around, that's when we need to try and make progress, because I'm not so confident in our dry pace. So the wet weather is going to be a blessing for us in disguise, and we need to try and take full advantage of it as we get a big bit of oversteer there. On to lap 2. I've got a full battery of ERS to deploy. That's going to be very, very good for us.
Okay, we're monitoring some wear on the ICE. Be aware that we will start to see a loss of power.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. We get a good exit out of turn 3. We are going to get alongside Leclerc, who runs in a bit hot on the brakes into turn 4. Can I get the exit? To challenge the Ferrari here. No DRS, of course. Just all down to slipstream. I have got the engine turn up to max, but we don't quite have enough on the straight to have a look at Leclerc. It's going to be a very long race, this one. Patience definitely going to be required as Leclerc's harvesting energy. I thought about going down the inside there as well, but we'll make the move as of when it's convenient to me. I think the Racing Point is struggling already, whether it's a car issue or front wing damage. because it's holding everybody up here. We're all straining for pace. We're going to go around the outside again. This time we are a little bit further in front. Leclerc again give me minimal room, but we are able to just about get the traction down this time. Leclerc does pull ahead on the straight, but we are going to go later on the brakes. Very late on the brakes, in fact, and we're going to not give Leclerc the opportunity to hang around the outside. Bit of an aggressive move there, but after him putting me in the wall 2 laps in a row, I had to get my elbows out, so we're up to P11. Ricardo's up next in the Alpha. If we can get past these 3 guys, including the Racing Point who's holding everybody up, we could push for the some solid points, I think. I think we've got pace. The car feels a lot better in the wet conditions, and I feel competitive. So let's see if we can make something happen. I'm going to go to hot lap mode, because this is a good overtaking spot for me. The final corner onto the pit straight has been a strong point of mine in the dry. Well, having said that, that wasn't a good exit. Let's see if we can get the run through 1, 2 and 3, and potentially get the run on Rick Bobby here. Taking a wide line into turn 3. Very wide line. Power down, getting the traction down here. We are going to pull alongside the Alpha. A little bit wide there with lock-up, that's not going to help. But we do get a good exit. Here we go, we're tucked in behind. No DRS, we are struggling for straight line speed a bit. Has to be said. I'm going to go around the outside on the brakes. How much grip do we have? Enough. Inside for the next one. And there we go, fantastic move around the outside. Up to 10th into the points. Good start so far. Got to use these conditions. You can see the gap already starting to build to the McLaren, so we need to make progress. Nice little swish back there actually. Got very close to Kvyat. Does brake very early, and we're going to get another switch back here. We don't quite get the traction down though, unfortunately, but pressure's mounting.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Got that confirmed.
Okay, inters, that's an interesting one. The rain has definitely eased off. We'll see if the AI pit. If they do, we'll also pit in. And yes, they are, they're pitting. So we are going to box. Good chance to jump some of these guys. It's going to be a busy pit lane. Let's just let it slow down. A little bit cautious there on the entry, but I didn't want to speed. It's going to be a busy pit lane.
10 minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes.
Right, so there we go. Hopefully some of these guys get held up, because we've got the last pit box, which is the privilege we've got. Here we go. Yes. What a stop. We've jumped 2 cars. We jumped the Toro Rosso and the Racing Point. We're behind Albon, so we're technically in P8 now.
We'll be doing one more stop today. 1 stop left in our strategy.
That's absolutely fantastic. And that's worked out beautifully for us. And we are going to get to undercut some of the faster cars who are still in the wets in the top 5, top 6. So this is good news for us as we get a huge bit of oversteer. Let's see if I can get past Albon straight away and make progress. Obviously it won't be on this straight, but let's try and put the pressure on him. Intermediate conditions now. That weather period was quite brief, but it was effective. We've got ourselves into the points. Starting to get very close to Albon. Let's put the pressure on through the hairpin. Purple sector 2, as you'd expect. Definitely intermediate tyres, without a doubt. Car feels fantastic. And we're very close to Alex here. Just got to try and make the overtake count. He's got no slipstream, which is good. But we are really putting the pressure on him. Let's just manage it. Take it nice and easy for the end of the lap. And make no mistakes. As Kubica pits.
Robert is in the pits. Robert in the pits.
Easy does it through here. Got to get good traction out of this one. It's important. Up to hot lap mode and rich mix. Struggling to get the power down. But we have got the one. There's lots of cars pit. Up to 8th place, which is where I said we would be. As we continue to put the pressure on Albon here for P7. Good run through 1, 2 and 3. Going to get the slipstream. I have to get off the throttle there. Otherwise I was going to hit Albon in the rear. Through 4. This straight's long enough, we might get a chance. He has pulled away a little bit though. Do we have enough? We're gaining a little bit. Let's go defensive. We're going to try the switchback. Down the inside. leaving him the room because we're very tight through there. I'm going to try another switch back. Albon runs in a bit deep. We get the momentum. Come on. This is not on the corner. We normally go down the inside, but we're going to try it. Oh, we brushed the wall. Oof. What a catch. Did I get wing damage? No, I didn't. But that was an incredible catch. My left rear just clipped the barrier there. Well, that was scary. We're so much quicker than Albon here. These conditions suit me, and I'm fast. I need to get this moved on. I'm going to try 6th gear through the final corner this time. That's better. We are close. Albon defends the inside again. I'm going to try and get the run through turn 3 once again and try and get the traction down. I put him under pressure into turn 4. Had to use 3rd just to bite the front end in. I struggle to get the power down though. I don't think we're close enough, are we? Or we might be actually. We're gaining. Down the inside, it's a late one. We get the car slowed down though just in time. And we're up to P7. Fantastic overtake. Little bait and switch, dummy to the inside. And there we go, we've been released into clean air. Now we can push. It's only lap 6 of the race. Feels like we've been going on for ages, but still plenty of laps to go. Let's try and get after Carlos Sainz now in these conditions before it gets to the dry weather. These are crucial laps for us to catch up. 54.4, we're about a second off the Mercedes pace. But I was behind Albon for a little bit in that lap, so now we're going to get our first proper clean lap to see what our true pace is. I think we can match the leader's pace in this Williams, I really do. We are flying around it. I've got really good pace. Across the line, do we set a purple lap? Yes we do. Much quicker than anybody else. First man into the 52s. I'm setting the track alight. I've also selected the hard tyres for the pit stop. Subject to change, possibly to a medium. But if it does go dry, I'm going to gamble on the fact it's not going to rain anymore this race. Because that last icon at the end doesn't convince me. So I don't think it will be enough to go fully wet again. So I think we're going to finish the race on dry tyres. Depends when the rain stops. It is getting drier and drier. But I have got my eye, like I said, on a hard tyre to go straight to the end and not do any more stops. Depends how far we go. If we get to like lap 15 and we're still in the inters, I'm going to go to a medium tyre, of course, and go to the end on that one.
It looks like we'll be running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly.
The track's drying up really quickly. Nowhere near as bad as I thought it would be in terms of the rain. You know, compared to the monitor at the start of the race, looking at the strategy screen. The track's really getting dry now, and it feels like my tyres are overheating. Gotta be careful to not overdrive the car now. It's all about being very delicate with the conditions. The gap is coming down to the cars in front. So let's continue.
Our data shows the tyres are okay right now. We anticipate good levels of grip for the next few laps at least.
Maybe, but I feel the track drying out and the rain about to stop, so the grip feels like it's going away a little bit. The track is barely kicking up spray at this point, and the rain is so thin, it's barely getting the track damp. We're getting very close now. Having said that, pace is still good. We are catching the McLarens, and we've now pulled a substantial gap to Albon. We're now closer to the cars in front than the ones behind, which is good, especially if we're going to the hard tyre.
A new strategy is available on the MFD. Confirmed.
Okay, so the team suggests mediums. Can I stretch them to the end? That's a hell of a stint. That really is. I really don't know what to do. This is really awkward. 20 laps on mediums, is that possible? Oh, DRS enabled.
DRS has been enabled. DRS is now enabled.
Track dried up so quick. Really don't know what to do. I just think that's a long way to go. I'm going to go for the hards. I just feel like it's a long way to go on mediums. It really is. Maybe the AI could make it, but I don't think I can. And also with the hards, I won't have to worry about overheating my tyres, which is also a good thing for me. So we're going to just commit to the hard tyre and hopefully it's the right call. The good thing is we will be definitely going to the end, whereas others I'm not so sure. So yeah, we're going to go hards. I'm going to commit to it. Let's hope it's the right call. Into the pit lane we go. That's not speed, nice and easy. There we go, right, very nice. comfortable entry. Starting to stay out for another lap. Has have some of the other leaders, so this could be interesting. Looks like all the AI cars are going for medium tyres, so good luck to them trying to get to the end. This is such a slow pit lane though, that's the thing, I want to try and avoid it.
Release.
I hope this is the right call. This is a massive gamble, but I think if it pays off,
Robert is coming in for a stop.
we're going to score some big points.
Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
A bit slow to release the limiter there, I lost a bit of time. Also, we might struggle on these hard tyres now with these conditions because the track's a bit damp still and it's not quite there yet for the dry tyres. Right then, let's do our own race. If cars catch us up, then fair enough, but we've got to do our own thing.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Okay, that's interesting. So, will the entire weather forecast be moved forward and like happen a lot quicker? That could be interesting. Either way, we've got the right tyre on, so basically we can stay on this tyre as long as we need. You know, whether the rain arrives or doesn't arrive, that's not my issue. I can focus on my own race. We might not have to pace outright. We might struggle, but at least we've got the longevity that we need. Here we have the remaining cars all in the pit lane. So we're going to go back up to our original position. Can we get Carlos Sainz? It's going to be close. Yes, we have. Although he will be in a faster car on the medium tyre, but for now we're P6. Hamilton's just up the road, so the championship is having a bit of a poor race here today. Everybody's so much quicker than me. I am way off the pace, I can't lie. Car feels good though, obviously coming over from the wet tyres, even the hards feel fantastic, but we don't have the pace. Sainz is flying behind me. Just got to get the head down and focus on myself. We're going to have to do some defensive driving in a moment. Okay, defence begins. Sainz on my gearbox. I'm going to try and burn all this fuel I've got, because we can use it now in the dry conditions. I'm going to use it to defend. I've got a full battery as well, which is why I've kept it at a full charge the entire race. Luckily for us, Albon isn't really catching up. It's just Sainz really at the moment, so I can manage with that. That's fine. I'm about 1.4 off the leader's pace, 1.3, which isn't bad to say I'm on a hard tyre in a slower car. Albon's only just caught up now, but we're keeping the gap at the moment. And hopefully Sainz will ruin his tyres and burn up all his resources behind me. Because at the minute we're getting good exits. That's the good thing about the hard tyre. We're going to have no overheating issues or tyre wear issues. So we can continue to get good exits and keep behind at the crucial areas. Personal best, slowly improving the pace. And Sainz is not challenging me. I think we're actually starting to drop him a little bit. Let's see how we get on, unless he's just turned the engine down for a couple of laps. I think it's starting to rain again. Yes it is. A couple of raindrops coming down already.
We'll see light rain transition into heavy within 15 minutes time.
Okay, so the race is going to finish wet and the rain is starting to fall again. Here we go. The rain dance begins one more time. So overall I did go for the wrong tyre. I was hoping for the dryers to last a little bit longer than that, but the weather forecast has got a mind of its own here today. Just trying to burn off all the excess fuel at the minute. So I'm keeping it in rich mix pretty much for the whole lap.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
Pace is still pretty good. Having said that, we are going to struggle more than others on these hard tyres in these mixed conditions, so I've got to be careful. Sainz is definitely closer now than he has been. But I've got a nice bit of battery charge still saved up and plenty of fuel to deploy, so we should be okay. Sainz is getting close, but not close enough. Getting a bit loose there on that curb. Sainz puts it back of me there. Got to be careful. Want to get a good exit this time round. Sainz is very close. He will challenge into the brake zone this time round. So we've got to be ready. Here he comes. Right on the outside, we're going to defend the inside line beautifully. And keep him at bay. 6.8 off the personal best, so definitely not far off the inters. The 7-second window is what you're looking at for intermediate, so I might pit in this lap for inters. I think this is the lap.
Pitting this lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Car starting to slide, and the rain intensity has picked up a little bit, and the droplets on screen have also picked up as we start to lock up now a little bit. Just hope that AI stay out for one more lap. That'd be Christmas for me.
We're no longer sure that these tyres are the right ones. It might be time to come in and change. A new strategy is available on the MFD. Copy.
it definitely is time to pit. Hoping the car's in front, which I think they may have. They might have just missed the pit lane possibly. The leader definitely has, that Mercedes. As we're going towards the pit lane. Yeah, looks like the leaders have stayed out as we come in. Overshooting the pit box a little bit there, but we just about get it sorted out. That's not speed, and there we go. Everyone's staying out. Everyone's staying out. Okay, interesting. We're going to go for the inters. Seems like nobody's pit at all on that lap. Unless it's going to dry out again. Could be interesting.
Complete, go now.
Okay, so I'm the only person to go for inters. This could be interesting. We heard the radio a little while ago saying it's going to go to a heavy rain soon.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
I was hoping to have avoided this train, but we're going to rejoin right behind it, so we might have to do some overtaking this lap. But now we're going to see a difference in tyres. The problem is we're not going to get to fully benefit from our outlap. One car does pit, so someone else does potentially go for the intermediate. But let's see what the track's at. Doesn't feel great just yet, probably on the 50-50. But we're definitely going to benefit long term though, over the whole lap.
Okay, the stewards have now disabled DRS. DRS is now disabled.
Starting to find the grip. So we're going to go down the inside here of Grosjean. I'm going to have way more grip and performance. Got to make so many overtakes here. This is going to be so frustrating because I'm not going to get to fully use my outlap. I'm going to have to wait until the hairpin here to make anything happen. Probably going to go for the outside line here because they're going to probably turn in on me on the inside line. We're going to go around the outside.
Okay, we're reaching a danger point with the wear on the MGU-H. Overheating the engine will exacerbate the issue, so keep the temps under control.
Alright, let's get past Norris. Down the inside, not the place I'd normally overtake, but we've got so much more grip. Kubica are up next. Definitely the right call. We timed it perfectly. Just a shame we didn't really get a clean out lap. There might be some cars that might be still staying out in the dries because they don't want to stack in the pit lane. So that could give us some potential benefits. But through the final corner we go. As Kubica pits. Oh, oversteer.
Robert is in the pits. Robert in the pits.
Alright, there we go. We're comfortably back out in P6 ahead of Sainz. So we've kept that gap right onto the inters now. So both McLarens pit on that lap and no stacking it seems. Either way, we're comfortable now and these conditions suit me. So it looks like P6 is going to be where we finish here today.
The turbocharger is on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
I mean, it's the last race, so it's not really an issue. We are flying at the minute, as we were in the first part of the race. My only chance of getting Kimi is if it goes to full wets and he pits and I stay out, or the other way around, but the other way around is going to be quite complex because we have to overtake cars in the process. Just running the fuel to the negative here, I want to make sure I'm nice and light. I'm starting to fly, I'm catching at least a second a lap on Kimi. That lap was 1.1, and the conditions are getting worse, and you know what I'm like in those conditions when it should be full wet tyres, but we stay out.
5 laps of fuel remaining.
We stay out on the inters, but in the full wet, I'm even quicker, so I wouldn't say it's over just yet. There's still 6 full laps to go, but I need to gain a little bit more than this per lap. But at the minute, the pace is good.
Right, some information on Hamilton. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Yes, the championship leader, and he's in P4, so depending how bad his issues are, Kimi could catch him and I could catch him. It could cost Kimi time potentially if he gets stuck behind him for a little while. So let's hope those issues persist until the end of the race. But Hamilton could be in trouble here. You can see him on the map. There he is. He's quite a way ahead. But there could be a late twist in the tail here. And I smell a P4 at least. I'm flying. 10.8. Hamilton is very slow. Whatever issue he has, he's losing a lot of time. I'm hoping him and Kimi lose a bit more time together. We are running out of laps, 4 laps to go.
Rain to ease up in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes till light rain.
Okay, Kimi's tucked in behind Lewis. He's losing time throughout this final sector. Good chance for me to make up ground here. Hopefully it doesn't get past, because then Kimi will be running at Lewis speed. 2 laps to go. There we go, 8.4. They're losing time. They're battling away. Looks like Lewis has lost out to Kimi, who's got past straight away. That was very quick, but they have lost about 2 seconds.
Some information on Vettel. They're retiring from the race.
That's going to be a free position. So if we catch Lewis, that'll be for P4. Let's push. Last lap of the race now. .7. We're going all out here. We're going to leave it in hot lap mode for this last part of the race. It might affect my traction on exits, but it might just give me a little bit more performance on the straights. Got to throw everything at it. I think we're going to catch him, but can we pass him? Let's push on. Very delicate situation because I want to push more, but the tyres are getting on a bit in terms of performance and tyre life, and it's still heavy rain conditions. It is still heavy rain conditions as we get a bit sideways at the hairpin. Still closing in though. Come on, come on. Let's keep pushing. Bottas will win. As the fireworks start to go off. Alright, we have to pull off a worldly overtake if we want to get Hamilton here, because there's no real overtaking zone anywhere near us. Got to concentrate, got to concentrate. I want this P4. Come on. Can I get the run out the final corner somehow? I've locked up. No, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, we're going to miss out. Damn it. One more lap. And I could have had him.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes.
It was more like dodgems than Formula One today, wasn't it? You really cut your way through the field today. What was your strategy? You're beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you? Would you say that your rival is still on your level? Great. Well, that's everything.
Right, so looking at the final race results, and Valtteri Bottas wins for Mercedes here at Marina Bay, picking up the win ahead of Max Verstappen and Kimi Raikkonen back on the podium, this time for McLaren, and that is a throwback and a half. For the first time in like 15 years, Raikkonen on a podium in a McLaren, and that is something special. Hamilton P4 just survives, and one more lap he would have finished at P5 as I would have overtaken him there, but still 5th place for us. A good race, a good turnaround after starting from 14th place on the grid, and a good weekend's work after struggling for pace most of the weekend. Carlos Sainz P6, Sergio Perez P7, ahead of Antonio Giovinazzi in 8th, with Alex Albon 9th, and Charles Leclerc score on the final point and the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in P10, so he scores 2 points here today. Pierre Gasly misses out on the points in the Red Bull, who is my main rival in the championship, along with Hulkenberg, Kubica in a good P13, but again missing out on points ahead of Magnussen, Kvyat, Stroll, Norris, Grosjean, Ricciardo, and then Sebastian Vettel, on the last lap there, retiring from the Grand Grand Prix. Very unfortunate for the Ferrari, and very, very disappointing for them as a team, as that's 2 in a row now, with Leclerc retiring in the last race at Monza. But in terms of the standings, though, we extend that gap over Pierre Gasly, and we're now 12 points ahead of him. We are currently 22 points behind Charles Leclerc as Bottas re-overtakes Sebastian Vettel for P3. Hamilton, though, still commanding up front, 86 points clear, and he's looking very likely for yet another World Drivers' Championship, as he's got a very huge gap to all his competitors. Having said that, in terms of the constructor standings, we are still in 4th place. Racing Point are 39 points behind, and McLaren are 59 points behind. So those two are going to be our nearest competitors going into the closing stages of the season. But that is it, guys, for the race here at Singapore, and we already have a major chassis upgrade on the way for the next race, so we're not going to put any upgrades here today. We're going to save a few points to invest those into protection and protecting the upgrades for next season in the aerodynamics. So guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Career Mode. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on the video, and also get subscribed if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications to not miss any videos from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.